Not only do I believe that Terrence Crawford is a bad stylistic matchup for Shawn Porter, but I believe as far as a mental battle, it's a bad stylistic matchup for him in that category as well. Shawn Porter, he's a guy who's kind of conditioned himself to really value participation awards. Terrence Crawford, you know, he's not there for no participation award. Another thing is, you know, like the title of the video, boxing intent versus just, you know, mindless action, mindless volume, you know what I'm saying? Terrence Crawford, there's a purpose, there's an intent. He's looking for checkmate the entire time. You go watch Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman, both guys throw over 700 punches, land over 200 on each other. You know, there's still no real separation when you watch the fight. If there is a victor, and understand that there's people that believe it could have gone either way. There's people that said Shawn Porter won, there's people that say that Keith Thurman won, but there's no separation there, you know. The Errol Spence fight as well, Shawn Porter, it was a street fight. Guys were just flinging punches at each other. There wasn't much strategy, there wasn't no real boxing intent in that fight. Errol Spence tried to do a step back counter left all night. He finally did catch Porter, you know, in the 11th round, sent him down, made his glove touch the canvas, but, you know, that opportunity was there all night for him, and it literally took him all night to land that punch. With Terrence Crawford, he's not a guy who's out here to throw 700, 800, 900 punches. He can do in 200 punches what guys like Errol Spence and Shawn Porter can't do throwing 1,000 over the span of 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different mindset altogether. As I said, even in the mental category of this matchup, I believe that Shawn Porter, he's lacking there as well. I understand a lot of people, they base their crap off of popularity contests. You know Shawn Porter, you know he fought your favorite fighter Errol Spence. He gave your favorite fighter Errol Spence trouble. And just like the Brook fight, you think because Brook gave Spence trouble too, he's going to give Terrence Crawford the same amount of trouble. You know, styles make fights for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Again, a guy who kind of is more like Terrence Crawford, Ugas, you know what I'm saying? You struggle with Ugas as well. He's got more of a counter-punching style, much like Crawford. You know, a lot of people feel that you lost that fight, you know. As far as Shawn Porter making it a close fight, whatever else, I mean, anything can happen in sport of boxing, especially on a given night. Shawn Porter can land, you know, a lunging overhand haymaker, right? You know, when he's lunging in doing his crazy shit, who knows? You know, that's going to be up to Crawford to be aware and combat that type of stuff. But Shawn Porter, he wastes a lot of his punches. It's been this way. He still fights with a very amateur style. And the amateurs, it's not more so about the hurt business, you know, to go out there and hurt your opponent. It's more so to score points, and that's how Shawn Porter is. You know what I'm saying? He's there to throw volume. And with him, it's more about quantity than it is quality. And Errol Spence, I would say the same as well. You know, when he wasn't fighting a guy he's supposed to beat, you know, you couldn't even knock out Mickey Garcia. And it's because you spend too much time with quantity instead of quality. You understand? And again, I'm going to have some Errol Spence fans come up in here and tell me, you know, he wasn't trying to knock him out. He was trying to outbox him. You guys need to do your research. He said in a post-fight interview how he tried multiple times to knock out Mickey Garcia and try to get Robert throwing the towel. So again, I know you guys, you follow a certain brand of people, and they speak highly of these guys and they speak highly of the PBC. But again, popularity contests aren't going to do anything for anybody in this fight, you know, when they do get into the ring. And I think Crawford is going to do what nobody has been able to do versus Shawn Porter. Let's go ahead and get into this Shawn Porter versus Dominic Wade. Just the first round, just to show you, give you an idea. If you can time Porter, and Brook was able to do it right from round one. Errol Spence tried to establish his jab and shit, but he just could not time Porter. I'm sorry. He just couldn't do it. So it became like this little street fight, as I said, you know. But let's go ahead and get into this round, and then afterwards to go on to the theme of boxing intent versus, you know, mindless action, mindless volume. We're just going to show you Crawford versus Thomas DeLorme. And I really believe Crawford, you know, I think he's going to shock and amaze a lot of people in this fight. Others he's gonna just make butt hurt, but that is the nature of the sport, you know. But let's go ahead, let's get into this Shawn Porter versus Dominic Wade. You're gonna see that there's not much changed from Porter. Again, I'm gonna have people complaining like, why are you going all the way back to the amateurs? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see the same tendencies, you're gonna see the same patterns, as I always tell you. You know, at the end of the day, it's the same guy. You understand? It's still Shawn Porter. You're gonna see the same shit that Shawn Porter does, okay? And then after that, we're gonna do this Thomas DeLorme versus Terrence Crawford, and just to give you more emphasis on boxing intent, boxing moves versus mindless action. Do you understand? Which is what the PBC fighters tend to do a lot. They waste a lot of punches. But let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we got Shawn Porter in the blue, I guess it is, the darker colors. As you can see, he's still doing his little footwork that you see him still do to this day. He's fighting a longer, bigger fighter in this fight. Crawford will have the reach and the height advantage, but only by a little bit. As you can see, Porter's being wild, being himself, wild self, losing his footing. Yes, he's gotten better since the amateurs, but you're pretty much seeing the same fighter today. As I mentioned earlier, Brooke was able to time Porter in the first round. I think Crawford's going to find and time Porter quicker than Errol Spence was able to. Just got caught with a left hook, but he did land a couple little pecking shots on Dominic Wade, as you guys all saw. Wild-ass fucking uppercut. Got countered, a couple jabs or a hook. One-two, which has always been a problem for Shawn Porter, as Kell Brook demonstrated. Porter does the same thing over and over again. There is no adaptation. Got caught with a couple left hooks, got caught with another big left hook, going wild, head in the ropes, getting flung to the ground. This is another point, too. Crawford knows how to grapple, too. He was a wrestler. His kids are state champions. You know, he was taught wrestling before he was taught boxing. If Porter wants to go wild and try to use strength, he can go ahead and try that venture. I think Crawford's going to school him in that regard as well. As you can see, not much doing, still wasting punches, just doing mindless output. Ref has to warn him because, of course, Porter wants to make it a sloppy-ass fight. Threw like 6 shots, maybe landed 1, got countered. But he keeps relentless with tenacity. But, you know, just still sloppy-ass shit. And bam, just like that. It's not hard to time this guy at all. Just like you all saw Dominic Wade right there. I think, just like the Amir Khan fight, I think Crawford will be able to time Porter a little quicker. You know what I'm saying? And probably land some big shots early on. Now, Porter, he does get back up. He does have great conditioning. You understand? He's got good physical prowess, conditioning, stamina, whatever. Hand speed. He's got some good physical attributes to himself. You know what I'm saying? But again, you've been fighting guys like Thurman, Porter, or I'm sorry, Spence, guys whose power has been falling off for years, been in droughts. Let's go on to this Shawn Porter versus DeLorme. All right, so everyone's going to be like, why DeLorme? Well, DeLorme, you know, I could easily show you Jeff Horn and we can watch Terrence Crawford easily time this dude lunging in all the time. You know, that's too easy. He's done against Gamboa. He's done against so many fighters. That's what Terrence Crawford does. We watched him fucking time Kell Brook with a shot from hell that Brook did not see coming. And this is another point, too. Crawford, you know, he's just better at throwing punches and landing punches that his opponents aren't going to expect or see. This is why he's such a devastating knockout artist and why he's one of the best finishers in the sport of boxing. But in this fight, DeLorme throws punches, but there's no intent. There's no boxing moves, as Roy Jones is telling Max Kellerman the entire time. For you guys who think activity and just throwing punches just to throw punches is going to be enough to fuck with Terrence Crawford, you're trying to convince yourself he hasn't fought no one and all this other bullshit. You believe in popularity contests. I'm telling you right now, guys, popularity contests ain't going to have nothing to do with shit in this fight. At the end of the day, it's going to be skills. Crawford has fought plenty of fighters who've never been knocked out before, and Crawford has easily been the first to do that. And Shawn Porter has been knocked down before. Hasn't been knocked out yet. He does have good conditioning and physical attributes, but as far as boxing acumen, again, he's a repetitious fighter. He throws punches mainly just to throw punches. He does the same shit over and over again. And quite frankly, I don't expect Porter to be aggressive the entire fight. I think he'll try it, But after he gets caught with a couple hard shots or even gets dropped early, he's going to go back to back foot Porter, which I showed you in the other fucking film studies. Errol Spence can't time. Errol Spence also can't put punches together as good as Terrence Crawford, as accurate as Terrence Crawford. Same with Keith Thurman. These fights were street fights. These guys, man, let me tell you, they just throwing punches and wasting all this damn punching, throwing 700 punches. What's the point if you can't knock a motherfucker out in 700 punches? And that's not Terrence Crawford. It's always checkmate. Right now, Terrence Crawford is measuring DeLorme, seeing what he's got. This was, I believe, wasn't his first fight at 140, but they moved up, and they know that this guy was bigger, big puncher. And plus, they just came out with a good game plan. They knew he was going to fade in the 6th round, and Terrence Crawford ends up ending this guy in the 6th round. But, I mean, this whole time, he's just figuring out checkmate. He's letting DeLorme do whatever he wants to do, let him feel like he's in the fight, winning the fight. And it was successful to some degree, the output and just being fully aggressive. But you weren't being effective, the effective aggressor. And, you're not really landing anything significant. You know, you're not really doing anything with any intent. You really have no game plan. You don't know what you're doing. You're just out there winging punches. And we've already talked about how Sean Porter has a amateur style. It's more a style for the amateurs where you score points. Professional boxing is a hurt business. Uneventful round 1. I think they give it to DeLorme just off of activity alone. Terrence Crawford's in there. He's just gauging this guy. You know what I'm saying? Let's get more into calling this fight. We'll get more into a monologue after this fucking fight and talk more about this Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford. But overhand right, you know, Crawford defensively has been good. He's been in conventional style the entire time. He's been picking off, parrying a lot of DeLorme's shots. DeLorme himself is not very accurate. Again, there's no boxing intent. There's no real boxing moves being done. It's all reactionary. He's just throwing punches just to throw punches. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing behind that. It's just mindless. It's an unconscious act, which Sean Porter is more than capable of being most of the time. He just throws punches, just throw fucking punches and wastes a bunch of punches. Sneaky 1-2 by Terrence Crawford. DeLorme goes ahead and holds after he got clipped with that shot. But this entire time, Crawford is just gauging this guy. He's just figuring him out, seeing what he's going to do, biding his fucking time, keeping poised, keeping calm. There's a nice 1-2 by DeLorme. The jab missed, but the punch to the stomach did land. Those punches did not land that we just saw. Crawford still getting his time and his distance down. That would have been a sharp jab. He lands it now. That first attempt he did not land. DeLorme coming with the output, just with the aggression. But again, are you really effective? This is scoring for him, though, because people are seeing you be more active. But as you saw that left hook counter from Bud, and then lands a jab afterwards. DeLorme misses with his own jab after he got caught. He may have landed that first jab, missed the second. Bud holds, clinches. We're doing some feints now. Hyper-vigilant Porter is going to be responding to all that type of shit, the feints, everything else. We showed you in the Inner Bud film study what's it like and how Terrence Crawford does against a guy who's very high-strung, hyper-vigilant. Crawford, his timing and everything, distance is just a little off right now, and it's going to be like that for a while. Perhaps the tenacity and the output has phased him a little bit, which is another reason why I chose this fight. But yeah, this one's going to be a little bit more boring film study, even for you Bud fans. But we got to get this point across. What is your goal? What is your end goal, Sean Porter? Because you're a guy who really fights for participation awards. You're not necessarily in there to win. You have trouble crossing the threshold to a victory, and you're satisfied with fucking participation awards. Terrence Crawford, participation award is not enough. He's in there to win, and not only does he want to win, he wants to win in grand dominant fashion, one-sided fashion. You understand? When I hear people talk about he struggled with like a Benavidez, bro, Crawford, I don't think has lost more than 3 fights ever in a fight. 3 rounds ever in a fucking fight. At most, at best, his opponents typically get 2 to 3 rounds against him. Sean Porter, you can't make that same claim. Sean Porter is over here having draws with guys like Julio Diaz and shit. Getting popularity contests just because you know a guy more and you recognize a guy more and he fights under the banner that you like the most, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily going to do anything for him. Counter up top by Crawford, then he went down with a left hook to the body. Again, this man knows how to chain and piece together punches, and Sean Porter's not going to be ready for that shit. As you can see, DeLorme is just throwing punches just to throw punches. And again, Sean Porter's going to have to come with some intent to actually have an end goal and a game plan if he wants any chance of beating Terrence Crawford. Me personally, I think his best bet would try to knock Terrence Crawford out in the first 3 rounds, go all out and gung-ho and just really make it a point to try to knock Terrence Crawford out in the first 3 rounds. If he wants to do that back foot boxing shit, which I think he is going to end up doing, he's just picking slow death instead of quick death. But again, I just think his best bet would be to go all out like this is Dragon Ball Z and try and end the motherfucker like quickly. Because I don't think he's, as the fight wears on, it's just going to be over. Bud's eventually going to adapt. He's going to time everything, get his distance. Nice lead left uppercut. He slightly landed with that straight right to the body after that lead uppercut. Again, Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter's never fought a counter puncher like this, although he's fought guys like Ugas, but it's not going to prepare him for a guy like Terrence Crawford. Again, Ugas is more of a one-punch guy himself. Brooke was a one-punch guy. Thurman, he can put punches together, but he just tried to counter left hook all night against Porter. And of course, Errol Spence ain't a combination puncher. Look at that nice jab. Really stiff, and then he follows with that lead right. Now he's starting to mix in his 1-2s, although they didn't land. He got caught with the jab there by DeLorme. But DeLorme, it's more reactionary. You know, there's no intent, there's no boxing move, there's no game plan. Lead right by Terrence Crawford. Nice body shot on DeLorme, definitely affected him. Now you got to clinch and hold, and you're going to see Porter do that same shit, you know, just react all crazy and go crazy, just like he was in the Brooke fight. Nice lead right by Crawford again, you know what I'm saying? He's just landing the more effective, cleaner shots. DeLorme is scoring mostly due to volume and just effort, you know what I'm saying? Missing with those 1-1-2, missed again. But Crawford's landing some nice punches in this round. A little sneaky, but you got to kind of pay attention in a Terrence Crawford fight. He does a lot of shit you can easily miss. Like his shifts from orthodox to southpaw all the time. If you want to watch some crazy-ass shit, pay attention. Go watch the Gamboa fight and just pay attention to Crawford's feet. And you'll just see all the little sneaky shifts that he does within that fight where he switches back and forth from southpaw to orthodox. A lot of people don't understand when they're watching this guy. So here we are. I don't know what round this is. Round 4. Again, you're punching, but what is the intent? What are you trying to do? Are you punching just to punch, DeLorme? He may have landed that lead right. And he landed a jab to Crawford's body, but of course Crawford comes back with a nice clean jab. DeLorme lands his own jab. Neither guy's really landing right now. That may have grazed Terrence Crawford's dome. Crawford landed a jab, almost got countered. This dude's trying to counter Crawford. When he lands his jab, he tries to come back with his own. Like, again, it's more reactionary. There's no real intent or boxing moves. Jab right to the body. I don't know if they landed. It may have partially landed that body shot. I'm not sure. If it did, it had pretty much little to no effect, like that jab you just saw Terrence Crawford land on him. And what's crazy is Crawford stays unconventional the majority of this fight. I've also noticed in this round, DeLorme has been fighting harder, more stubbornly. He's just doing more and doing it harder, you know what I'm saying? Not that he's necessarily adapting or doing anything great, although he has landed some nice couple of punches in this round. But I think the last round when Crawford was landing some pretty good shots on him, this is causing him to kind of pick up his pace and try to do more. So it's a little bit better round for him, and I do believe in the 4th, the judges and Letterman and whoever else gave the 4th round to DeLorme, and Max was talking more shit. Oh, he started with a nice clean jab and landed a double right on DeLorme there. And I'm sorry, I will be calling things a little behind, because real time it is hard to kind of keep up and explain everything that's going on, guys. Again, just punching the punch. I don't know if those punches landed effectively. I think the body shot caught Crawford's elbow, his left elbow. Both guys sizing each other up. Both miss their jab. DeLorme comes with a 1-2. I think he does land to the body, misses with that lead uppercut. Crawford smiling, so maybe he did have some success. Crawford lands a jab while DeLorme lands a jab to the body. Both guys are missing their jabs, but Crawford does catch him with that up jab just now, and it backs DeLorme up a little bit. Almost lands with the 1-2. Still getting his timing distance down. But you see how Crawford's coming on, and he's fucking being more aggressive, trying to walk him down. So DeLorme definitely has some success there, I believe. Crawford is more adamant to hit a guy when he gets hit himself. And excuse me for the jump cuts, guys, but again, I get notifications for my kids' daycare. You don't need to know my son's name, my other son's name, or what daycare they go to. Again, you didn't miss anything significant. And once again, I implore that you guys always watch these fights on your own, come to your own conclusion. A little jab to the chest there by Crawford. But both guys still kind of missing majority of their shots. Nice jab and then straight right to the body, although I didn't think they landed anything hard or anything on Crawford. Good job by DeLorme. Nice little sequence by DeLorme. He's putting his punches together better now. The 1-1 and straight right to the chest. But hasn't really done much this round. 1-2 blocked by Terrence Crawford. Lands his jab, almost lands the left hook there. Comes with a little overhand right, but it doesn't land with any significance. Still getting his bearings, trying to figure this dude out. He just got countered with a nice pullback right by DeLorme, so that was a nice move by DeLorme. Should have followed that up with the 2 after that jab. Landed lead right, but DeLorme goes down low with the left hook to the body. Causes Crawford reset back up. Not a bad round for DeLorme, but again, Crawford, he's still not connecting fully with these overhand right counters. Lands a jab there. DeLorme going back down low. Overhand right, if it would have landed clean, it would have had devastating effect. Another straight right that landed by Crawford. Missed with the jab by DeLorme. Bud's doing his little timing on him. A little range fighting there. He did that same shit versus Brooke and then ended up landing some shit on him. Still not fully there with those fucking lead rights yet. Almost landed a nice little fucking hook to the body. Crawford, I think, a little frustrated. Comes out with a nice jab. Round 6, I believe. Went with a 2-3 there and almost got tripped up. Overhand right, but still not landing solid yet. Lead right finally lands. And then just a fucking a 3-2 there, which it pretty much is the beginning of the end of this fight. And again, if Porter's not doing anything effective, he's not doing real boxing moves, boxing intent, this is going to happen the same fucking way. Crawford's just going to catch his ass out of nowhere when he eventually does time and figure him out. Finds a Trojan horse that's just going to fucking annihilate Sean Porter. And I do believe this is the first time we are going to see Sean Porter get knocked out. Although I think the ref is going to wave it off. I don't think it's going to be like a fucking just straight up knockout. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a stoppage where the ref's going to have to intervene and just call the fight off. But Terrence Crawford showing you some very accurate work, which is why he's one of the best finishers in the game. His percentage rises exponentially when he has a guy hurt. And he will just go body, head, and there's nothing these dudes can do. He's just accurate, landing these left hooks. Minus that punch. But then comes over top, the overhand right. More overhand rights back down low.
You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much over at this fucking point. And the ref is going to call the fight. But this man is just devastated, falling over like a drunk. You know what I'm saying? The fight's over with.
So there you have it. We went over Sean Porter versus Dominic Wade. You know, how Dominic Wade was just able to keep in high guard, keep his bearings, and just catch time. Porter, then we went on to the DeLorme fight. And again, DeLorme, he tried to throw punches and stuff. He did have some success against Terrence Crawford. But once Terrence Crawford decided to turn it on, and really, when he finally got some solid work in, it was pretty much the end of the fucking fight. Again, you guys are going to talk about the level of competition. You know, DeLorme's knocked down Ugas. You know, why couldn't Sean Porter knock down Ugas? Again, when it just comes to the psychology of the fight, the mindset, you know, not even the physical. Again, I just think Porter's style, or Crawford's style for Porter, is a stylistic nightmare. But the mental battle as well, because Porter is a guy who has tasted defeat plenty of fucking times. He's a guy who's tasted the fucking canvas. You know, he's a guy, like I said, who likes to, you know, for him a participation award to say that he was in a close fight. And, you know, some people got him winning, and then his dad can claim how, you know, they should have got that fight, you know, and they have valid reasons, like they blame the low blows and shit, and Brooke holding, you know, that's just part of the game, though, and it just goes to show that, you know, Porter may not be as strong as people think. We saw him turn Errol Spence, even with just using his arms and shit like that, but I think Errol Spence is pretty weak at the welterweight division. But again, he's going to try that bullshit with Crawford. I think Crawford's going to control him. Crawford is a wrestler. First thing you're taught in wrestling, and it's the same in boxing, is you control the head, you control the body. And Crawford, he's just better at getting underhooks on the fighters, really holding them and controlling them. And we've seen him bully bigger guys than Porter. Again, you saw Brooke basically hold and grapple Porter, and there wasn't much Porter could do. You know what I'm saying? Ref would separate the fight, he lunged back in, get time, get held again, and there was nothing he could do the entire fight. You know what I'm saying? Other than the same shit that he's always fucking doing. He can't adapt. And it eventually is going to get to the point where a guy, especially a guy like Terrence Crawford, is going to time with the fucking Trojan horse. The one that gets him inside within Porter's defense's low hit to sleep, and it's going to just fucking be straight out devastation. Again, you know what I'm saying? And if, you know, maybe they are friends and Crawford may hold back a little bit, but if he just goes in there and does what he's supposed to, I just don't see any way how Porter is going to fucking win this unless he catches Terrence Crawford with some crazy-ass overhand haymaker right or something along the lines of that. Just like this DeLorme fight, and just like I showed you Dominic Wade, you know what I'm saying, the way he fought Sean Porter, I don't think Crawford needs to fucking even go into southpaw this fight, to be honest with you. I think he will be just great in the conventional stance. Just let Porter do his little bullshit and counter him. If you guys pay attention to Porter, he leaves himself open when he comes in and steps forward, tries to close the gap. You know what I'm saying? Against Spence, we've even seen where he took his eyes off of him, kept his head down, wasn't even looking at Spence, and that was part of the reason why Spence was able to catch him with that left that sent his glove to the canvas. Sean Porter was lucky that it was an arm punch. You understand, Spence carries a wide base. You know what I'm saying? And he's flat-footed. That punch was more of an arm punch, which is why I believe it was still hard. Don't get it twisted. But which is why I believe it only made Porter's glove touch the canvas. The punching mechanics with Spence, I've never been a big fan of. I always believe that his base is part of the weakness, you know, of his, you know, of his fighting style and shit. And why another reason why I think he's overrated. And this is why you can't see him knock out guys like even a Mickey Garcia when you land 300-something punches. But Terrence Crawford is definitely different. This man, even his lead hand, he still can land with enough authority to send guys toppling over. You know, has power both hands.
His right is his fucking, what can I say? As he said it, it's a hammer and his fucking left is a brick. But I've seen him devastate people with both hands, you know, whether it's a fucking Gamboa, knocked him down with a left hook, left uppercut, you know what I'm saying? Benavidez, of course, we saw him get toppled over with lead right. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a scenario where Porter doesn't see the punch coming, I think Crawford definitely is going to have more significant effect when he does land these type of punches on Sean Porter, especially when he's not aware of it. You know, and Porter, he does get into a broken record, you know, where he does the same shit over and over again, and it just becomes unconscious, like I said. I don't think he has the awareness of a Terrence Crawford in there in a fight. And a lot of you, you're not really going to enjoy this video, but again, a lot of you, you're new to this fucking boxing shit. You never talk styles. You talk about money. You talk about politics. You talk about your favorite fucking advisors and promoters and shit. You guys never focus on the styles in today's boxing for whatever reason. The majority of you that claim that Terrence Crawford's never fought in a Sean Porter, you're the same people who wrote off Sean Porter before the Errol Spence fight. You were over here claiming man down and Sean Porter ain't shit. You know, before you started acting like you're fake Sean Porter fans. I don't know what to fucking tell you guys, man. I have some of you coming in my comments, and you all say the same shit for the most part. You know, you people who tell me I'm biased and shit, but I didn't get the chance to prove you guys during the Manny Pacquiao versus Spence film studies. But hopefully this fight does go through, and I am going to knock on some wood right now. You know, not to fucking, you know, curse this fight or whatnot. It was funny when I came out with my last film study for the Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao. Spence had an eye injury. You know what I'm saying? Definitely don't want to, you know, put some bad juju on this fight. But, yeah, again, I think Crawford's going to beat Sean Porter in a way that Sean Porter's never been beat before. I think he has a high chance of scoring the early knockdown just like he did against Khan. You know, I think, or at least hurt Porter significantly. Land something that's definitely going to just shift the whole momentum of the fucking fight. Crawford, we've seen him do this plenty of fucking times. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't see anything on how Sean Porter, other than some, you know, some very, like getting struck by lightning type shit happening, that he'll win this fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think Porter's ready for this type of fight. You know, the PBC, again, these guys, they're top volume, you know what I'm saying? Just go out there, throw punches, and it's entertaining and shit, you know, to watch guys just go out there and fucking throw all these fucking insignificant, non-impactful punches, you know. Yeah, some shit's landing. Yeah, some shit's landing hard, you know. You may even get a guy's glove to touch the canvas. But, I mean, again, these fights, it's crab in the bucket type shit. You know what I'm saying? You may be at the top of the crab bucket, but there ain't no separation between you and the crab that's at the bottom of the bucket. You know what I'm saying? There's no separation in these fucking fights. You guys are just, legs are all tangled with each other, and by dumb luck, maybe one of you will land and some shit happens where you can actually get on top of the other crab, you know? But with Terrence Crawford, you know, again, just his punch placement, his timing, boxing IQ and everything else, power, instincts, his mindset on just wanting to win. Dude, all around, this is going to be a Crawford dominant win. And as I've already seen, you guys have now jumped on Ennis Boots. That's your new savior. If you guys come with some Ennis Boots on this channel, again, I'll show you some shit that might make you change your fucking mind. Ennis Boots is a guy who is a very talented, God-gifted fucking fighter. But I will tell you right now, he fights the same way he did as a fucking amateur. And he can be beaten just like he was beaten in the fucking amateurs. And I can show you some shit. You guys want to talk about getting hurt by guys like Me Machine and shit. I can show you fucking in his boots slumped over on ropes. You know, if you guys want to push that narrative in my comment section, I might just do that shit.
But, you know, it is what it fucking is. This is about Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter. We'll see the comments, and we'll see if you guys got any more requests. If you guys want to see fucking, what's his name? Diaz. If you look in my early videos for when I first started my YouTube channel like a couple years ago, you'll see a highlight video on Felix Diaz. You know what I'm saying? Other than them looking alike and kind of having the same body type, and Felix Diaz was 160, you know, when he on fight night when he fought Bud, and Porter weighs in around the same weight, you know, puts on, you know, a lot of weight and is damn near a middleweight, you know, on fight night. Other than that, I don't think there's much I can use in that fucking fight, you know. One guy's a southpaw and the guy's a gold medalist, and he's more of a technician. Sean Porter is just a better athlete. It makes him look like he's versatile and has boxing skills, boxing acumen, but it's just not the fucking case. But we'll see what your guys' requests are, and I may just fuck around and do some more film studies on this, maybe one closer to the fight once we get there. But other than that, just wait around and we'll be coming out with more videos, guys. We'll talk to you later.